So why do you think you stayed?
In the marriage. Because I know why I stayed. Because I always wanted this loving, nurturing, cherishing family at the heart. And, because I wanted the ideal, like you've told me before.
So you valued how it looked over how it was?
Well, there were moments of...
Sure.
There were. And there was some happiness,
Sure. But what you're describing
I didn't value how it looked. I've never valued how it looked. Narcissists
let me rephrase it slightly differently.
How they've got this perfect family. I've never done that. I mean, I tell everybody how shit it is.
Let me I put it slightly differently. You valued the dream of what you wanted it to be over the fact of how it was.
Yeah. And I kept striving and thinking it would work and it would be the dream.
And there's a part of you that's still hanging on to that even now.
Yeah. There is. The log fire and the warmth and the music and the happiness and the laughter and the love. That's all I've ever wanted. And I've tried so hard to make that.
The problem is, by valuing the dream over the reality, is you consistently let things slide because you didn't want to lose the dream that you shouldn't have let slide.
I know.
The first time that Simon undermined you and you weren't working as a functional parenting team, something would have felt off inside of you.
Yeah, it did.
But because you wanted to hang on to the dream so much, you would have swept that under the carpet to keep the dream alive.
And now I'm 50 and fat and ugly and nobody will want me anyway and I'll be on my own for the rest of my life. So that's...
Well, I'm not sure who's told you that story, but that's the story.
He told me yesterday.
Right, so he's told you that story. Doesn't make it true, but he's told you that story. And that's also part of manipulation. That's part of what... Because also what happens in situations like this is you've had your self-esteem undermined to make you feel that you have to stay. What's different now is Simon's not in the house anymore.
No.
They are adults and you do have power that you may not realize that you have, but it's how to use that power in a skillful and a constructive way.
Yeah, but that's what I don't know how to do.
So that's part of the learning curve that needs to happen.
Yeah.
It's also recognizing that the fact that you stayed in such a toxic marriage for so many years and that you then went back to a toxic marriage and you've thought about going back to it again.
Well, it's like the Stockholm syndrome, isn't it? It is.
That's part of the unhealed and unresolved trauma in you.
Yeah.
Which
as
that heals and you start to see this with all the more clarity, that's part of what gives you the boundary to go, that's unacceptable, that's unacceptable. But I think the key part at the moment is really doubling down on your work on yourself.